Hi, I'm Alisa. I have marched with Crossman, the Reading Buccaneers, Westchester University, Field of View, Pencrest High School, and a bunch of other places. And I'm really excited to go inside the shot with Chris today.
Hi, everybody. It's Chris Maher. I'm so excited to have Alisa Max here with me today. I've known Alisa since the beginning of her marching career at Pencrest High School. Her freshman year was the first year of the color guard program there, the indoor color guard program. And I was my first year taking indoor color guard photos. So she's been with me, my entire time taking indoor photos. So we're going to go inside the shot and look at some photos of Alisa. Okay, so this is Alisa in 2010, freshman year. The show, as I remember, was kind of a Bollywood sort of a show or something along those lines, and just the guard had these gorgeous dresses, and it's where it all started for Alisa. Was in that show at Pencrest. So, do you remember much about that year and about that show?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I had no idea what I was in for with color guard at that point in time. It was, I think, like 5 or 6 of us that were in that show. Mm-hmm. And it was really just like my introduction to what the activity could be. But we got to work with like a local woman with some of the Bollywood stuff, which was awesome. And at the time, it was like the coolest costume I had ever seen, and we got to do the glittery makeup. So I was just excited, and a show like that was really the reason that I marched as long as I have.
Okay. Yeah, I remember coming over at as Bill Ives was starting that program, and coming over because my daughter was in 8th grade that year, and brought her over for some of the rehearsals to see if maybe she would be interested in the guard. And of course she didn't go that route. She kept with her clarinet. But I remember just all of the just trying to teach those basic skills and what that year was all about. So it was a good time. Let's move on to the next photo and see what else we have here. So this would be a jump to senior year, I believe.
Yes.
For you, right? Your senior year. So I remember a few things about that year, but I don't remember what the show was about. So what was that show?
This show was called Side by Side, and it was really just a love theme. We had 2 characters that started on the bench together and ended on the bench together, and we had a lot of duet and partner type stuff. Very a novice class at the time, very just partner and love focused. Right.
I remember that year at Wildwood, you left to go back to prom and then came back to March finals because you guys had made finals, and that was quite a schedule that day, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the first thing I thought of when I was looking at that picture. We did our prom hair and makeup before performing that day because that was our semifinals performance that we had to be at before prom. So we all performed in our prom hair and makeup. We all jumped in my mom's truck and we drove back to Pennsylvania, went to prom, went to our AM prom for a couple hours. I think we got back to Wildwood around 4:30 in the morning. And we had to be up around 6:30 to start that day because we still had to perform pretty early on Sunday. Mm-hmm. But it was worth it. I was so glad that I got to do both, and it was so cool to see where we had started my freshman year and to have gotten to that level by the time that I was graduating. It was the best feeling.
Yeah, it was a great scene, great way to end the high school part of the of your career. So, all right, let's move on to the next shot. Right, so this is one you had picked out to talk about, and I don't remember too much of it. It was Buccaneers, and I guess maybe it was 2016, maybe somewhere around there.
Yep.
Okay, so what can you tell me about that year and that show?
So 2016 was honestly my favorite Buck show that I've been in. People always like joke around with me when I say that was my favorite, because that was the year that we came in second. But I think, as we all know, that's not really what the activity is about. The show was called Concentric, and it was very like yogi type theme, but it really reached a lot further than that. And it was a really special year, I think, across the board for the drum corps. We definitely went through a lot of growth. That was a year that we lost a member to suicide, and that was something that, really brought us together in terms of, sometimes the color guard just know everyone in the horn line and the drum line, and it really was one of those things that taught us how important it is, to always be there with your fellow marching members, and that no matter what, you always have 149 other people on that field with you and off the field with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quite a year, quite a memory there.
Yeah.
All right, and let's take a look at our final shot. So this was what year would that have been? It was Westchester 2016.
I want to say 17. 2017
was junior, senior year.
I guess it was 2016.
2016, yeah. So the show was all about you. I mean, you were the star of that show with that red and just the beautiful colors, and it was so much fun for me, having watched you grow up to that point, and to be able to photograph you in that moment. It meant a lot to me to do that. That shot was taken at the performance that you did at US Band's the PA State Championships at Westchester University, one of the 2 times that I got to see that show that year. The other time would have been Collegiate Festival, which would have been daytime. And the nighttime version of that show was just so much more powerful. It really just worked so well under the lights, and with the black background that you get there at Westchester. It was just awesome. So how did it feel to have that much of a role in a show that has 300 or 400 other people on the field with you?
Oh my goodness. I felt incredibly lucky when Todd asked me about that. I honestly didn't believe him. I was like, you're asking me? We had all theorized who it was going to be, and we had picked out a couple other people, and it was an enormous amount of pressure, and I don't always do well with that. So I definitely had my low moments, but it was also the coolest thing I've ever gotten to experience in this activity. Especially, I remember specifically at US Bands, there was a girl that came up to me after the show, and she asked if she could hug me, and was super emotional, and she was like, "You're just the best person I've ever seen." And it's funny because, those kids don't know how much is out there yet. Mm-hmm. So to get that kind of response and know that I was affecting people like that, that's why I do the activity. It was the coolest thing.
Awesome. Well, this has just been so much fun talking with you. I haven't seen you in quite a while.
Yeah.
So probably summer, right? Bucks was probably the last time I even saw you. Yep. The one thing we didn't see any Crossman photos of you. You did 1 year at Crossman, if I remember, and I see you've got your cross on there. Yes. So that's really great. I do remember, photographing you that year. It was a little hard to find you sometimes on the field with so many people and so much else that was going on. But how was your experience in Crossman? How did that go for you?
It was everything I had hoped it would be. Only getting 1 summer of DCI, I definitely knew that I needed to make the most of it. But it was also something that I had dreamed of doing for so long at that point that it was hard not to just enjoy every single moment. Mm-hmm. There was definitely nothing else in this activity like getting to experience a summer of DCI. And I grew so much as a person, as a performer, and actually a couple of your photos were used by one of our staff members for some of the promo stuff. So
Okay.
you got some publicity from the Crossman out of that too.
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, it was so much fun talking with you. I'm so glad you came to look inside the shot and talk about your experiences. This was great.
Yes, you too, Chris. Thank you. It has been so much fun reviewing all of these pictures and going down memory lane with Chris today. Chris has done so much for our community and has allowed us to remember these moments in time that we wouldn't have otherwise. He is an incredible photographer, and I feel so lucky that I got the opportunity to really grow up with him and really experience every show that I've been in, basically, with Chris there on the sidelines. So thank you so much, Chris, for everything you have done for me and the entire Color Guard community. It has been so much fun going inside the shot.